looks part dolphin, part mermaid, but right now, Kiwi freediving champion William Trubridge is trying to swim Cook Strait, largely underwater. He surfaces for just a few seconds every 25 metres or so he can catch his breath, in the same way a dolphin would. It is, after all, the plight of endangered hectors dolphins he is trying to highlight with his 22-kilometre swim. So he's swimming dolphin style. William set off from Wellington this morning, and his father David Trubridge says he's hoping to knock it off sometime between 6 and 7 tonight.
It's going really well so far. He's been doing great. He's passed halfway, and I think probably he's passed the worst bit, because at the beginning there was a strong northerly tide and was pushing him way down south. So he's got sweat. His course is like a sort of flattened U, so he's gone way down south, and now he's heading back up. But he's got the tide and the wind helping him. So hopefully the second part will be easier, and also warmer, which is quite important, because he feels the cold, and earlier it was quite cloudy, and the sun coming out warms his body, and that's vital to him being able to keep going.
Yeah, so what is he rigged out in exactly, David? And also he's swimming this in rather unusual style, so can you explain that to us?
He's swimming across underwater. Now, that not on one breath. That's a little bit more than any human can do, even William. So that what he's doing is he dives down, swims underwater for about 25 metres, comes up for about 10 seconds, takes a few quick breaths, and dives back down and carries on. And he does this all day, continuously across Cook Strait. And occasional brief pauses to get some liquid food down him. We made a whole bunch of potato soup to keep him fed and hot during the trip. But basically, that's all he's stopping for.
So he's swimming, well, as a dolphin would?
Exactly as a dolphin, even like he's got a monofin on, so you see him swimming underwater with the monofin, which is attached to his both feet are locked into this, and he ripples his body like a dolphin and flows along under the water.
Yeah, and it is actually quite beautiful if you watch the video in the way he swims, and for people who are listening to this, that fin is kind of like what you would imagine a mermaid's tail would be in some ways.
It's exactly the same as a mermaid's tail, yeah. He doesn't have it going all up his legs, so it's just on his feet, but it looks just exactly the same.
How hard is this in terms of other things that he has done?
I'd say he'd probably rate this as one of the hardest things he's done. He's done training swims in laps, in lap pools where he's gone backwards and forwards like this. He'll do a whole lap, come up for a breath and do a lap. That's part of his training regime, so he knows what he can do. But he's never done a single long swim, and he's certainly never done it in this sort of conditions with the cold and the waves and that before. So this is a big new step for him.
Who's out there supporting him? Who's feeding him the soup from the boat and making sure that he's okay?
He's got an old friend, Kane Grundy, who's taking videos of this, making a video of the whole thing. He's helping him. There's other people on the boat. There's a father and son duo who are in a kayak, and they're his kind of immediate link, so that they point him, because it's very difficult when you're in the water to see the direction, so they point him in which direction he needs to swim. And they're his close link, and they keep very, very close to him. He doesn't want the boat too near him, because he doesn't want the fumes from the exhaust he doesn't want to breathe that in. But there is a chase boat nearby, and they're also his main support vessel.
So what time are you expecting him to make land?
Well, at the rate he's going, he's picking up speed, but I originally would have said 10 hours. And at halfway he'd been swimming for 5 hours, so that would have been about right, but he's doing pretty good. So 6 or 7 o'clock tonight.
Oh my goodness, I don't think any of us could really imagine that. 10 hours in the water in those kinds of conditions. What do you think he's going to do next? Well, if you'd asked me this before this one, I would have never considered this. So you'd have to ask him that kind of thing, because his whole kind of, I guess, life's ambition is to push the limits of human endeavour underwater. And I guess he's doing that with this, and if he can find some other way in which he can do that, he's done that with pushing world records for freediving way down below what anybody else has done. So that's what drives him, and so if there's another opportunity to do something like this, he'll take it, I'm sure. Hey David, is the potato soup good? Did you give it a try?
For me, it was a little bit bland. I mean, he would normally have lots more taste in it, but for something like this, you don't want garlic or chili coming up your throat when you're underwater. So it's pretty bland, but it's full of carbs, which is what he needs. That it's warm, and they've got a little cooker on the boat. We made up a whole lot of sachets of this soup, and they cook them up every half hour or so and feed them to him liquid.
So it's not a culinary masterpiece, but it's got what it needs to keep him going.
No, it's not, but nothing against Linda, who made the soup, for my wife, his mother, for that, but absolutely, yeah, it's what keeps him going.